Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. I'm reading The Wheel of Time for the first time and sharing the experience with you. This is One Good Turn, The Eye of the World, and today I'm covering Chapter 11. The chase is on. A very rushed chapter, I think. A lot of little beats in there that I think are very important to call out. I didn't have my pencil with me, so I hope I can catch them all as we go through it. But there they go. They're being chased by the drag car. Rand is in the back. So he's constantly checking behind him to see if they're being chased. I think it seems to me that it's because that's his role as the one who is last, more so than any degree of fear, although I'm sure he's afraid. But Tom is right in front of him, and he's not checking behind him in the same way. Cloud is doing very well, he's keeping up, and he is very willful, such that Rand is a bit worried that if Cloud senses his fear, then Rand will lose control. But Rand is also very much focused on Bella and Egwene. So he's got quite a lot of things that he's trying to do all at once and pay attention to at once. He's worried that Bella won't be able to keep up. He's worried about what might happen if they do get caught, whether or not Bella would fall back. He's uniquely worried about Egwene because, well, I'll read the passage. The Aes Sedai and the Warder thought Rand and his friends were important in some way, but for all of Moraine's talk of the pattern, he did not think they included Egwene in that importance. Now, I read that and I think, okay, sure, insofar as you know that it's you, Matt, and Perrin that are being chased by the evil, but that does not mean that her role here isn't important or that she won't have a role to play in the long term. But I know that because I'm reading the book and here she is. She is a person of consequence. I had mentioned he's worried about Bella. This is the passage that I think is important to call out on that note. If Bella fell back, he would fall back too, whatever Moraine and Lan had to say about it. Back where the Fade and the Trollocs were. Back where the drag car was. With all his heart and desperation, he silently shouted at Bella to run like the wind. Silently tried to will strength into her. Run! His skin prickled and his bones felt as if they were freezing, ready to split open. The light help her run! And Bella ran. So there's a line a little bit later on, so we're going to put a pin in that note, but I think it directly connects to what Moraine has to say about Bella later on. They continue on further, but eventually Lan and Moraine slow down and come to a stop. Off in the distance, they can see Watch Hill. They can hear some music. It's bell-time for them, and it sounds as if they had not had any disturbance that night. Tom, Rand, Matt, Perrin, they all think they're stopping for the evening. Sweet summer children. And Tom. No, they're not. Lan says, we cannot stop until we are across the Terran. Not for more than a few minutes. Rand is worried about the horses, but he realizes Moraine has been going around to each horse, and she does whatever strange Aes Sedai magic it is that she can do, and the horses appear as if they are completely fresh for a brand new day. Rand says, I did not know she could do that. You of all people should have suspected it, the warder replied. You watched her with your father. She will wash all the fatigue away, first from the horses, then from the rest of you. Rand asks why not him, and he responds that he doesn't need it yet, and she cannot do this to herself. And on the topic of her being unable to do this to herself, he has the ominous line, you had better hope she does not grow too tired before we reach Tar Valon. Reading that the first time, I thought to myself, there's no way you plan on going at this pace all the way to Tar Valon, is there? But then I thought, geez, maybe there is. I think it's a little bit of a moot point because it is highly probable that they will face obstacles along the way, but it still seems an intimidating thing to have to go at that pace the entire way. Then Moraine says, you were right about your Bella, Rand. She has a good heart and as much stubbornness as the rest of you two Rivers folk. Strange as it seems, she may be the least wary of all. So, that's the line. I think the passage where he's willing Bella to run, I feel somewhat confident in suspecting that Rand was accessing the one power to do that. Now, what goes against that supposition is my wonder as to whether or not using the power is traceable. If it sets off some sort of beacon like, hey guys, there's a magic user here. Now, obviously, in which case Moraine and Lan likely would have known that he was doing such a thing. But I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure it was him using the power. But there's virtually no time for reprieve because the Drogkar's wings beat again. It has seen them. It freaks out all of the horses except for Moraine and Lan's. And the party is in a bit of a chaos because they're all trying to get control of their horses. The shriek from the Drogkar has drawn a bit of attention from the village, but not enough that anyone investigates. It's like the music stops, everyone listens, then it starts to play again. And Lan commands everyone to mount and get going. The Drogkar wouldn't have shown itself unless it had already reported to the Murdral. So they're right on their tail. And at that point, I'm thinking, what if you went the opposite direction? You claim, I think at one point in this chapter, that they know where they're going. They, meaning the Dark One's minions, know where the group is headed. I wondered if it might not be wise to just go a wildly different direction. But in theory, in order to pull that switch, they would first have to lose the Drogkar. So they start running again. This time Rand is between Moraine and Lan. There's no real sense of order here. It's more like they're all just going as fast as they can, trying to stick together as close as possible, but they're more worried on making ground. And there's an important passage. The Drogkar's shriek challenged the night. Stout Bella ran with neck outstretched and tail and mane streaming in the wind of her running, matching the larger horses every stride. The Aes Sedai must have done something more than simply ridding her of fatigue. Again, I'm thinking, no, that was you, Rand, whether you know it or not. Although I do think that Moraine is also doing other things. Like, in a little bit, it goes over just how foggy it is. I'm pretty sure that that's Moraine casting fog cloud in order to obscure them. Moraine is not confident that she can do something to the Drogkar while on horseback. Presumably Lan had asked if she could cast chain lightning on it or something, but Rand didn't actually hear the question, just the answer, which is that she cannot. And that's when they get into the fog, and Rand has the thought, surely the night was too cold for fog. And that's where we get the line that indicates it all. So Lan says, there is still only one place we can be going. To which Moraine responds, Murdral are sly. I will use its own slyness against it. Again suggesting she's the one that cast fog cloud, and bringing to my mind that idea of what if they just went in a random other direction to lose them. Rand, I think, realizes that she's causing the fog. Rand shifted in his saddle, shrinking away from the icy fog. Knowing that Moraine could do things, even seeing her do them, was one thing. Having those things leave his skin damp was something else again. You know, as I'm going through this chapter again, I don't even think it's suspicion. That feels like it's confirmed right there. They continue on, and eventually, the shrill cries that had hounded them faded as they galloped and then were gone. But that gave small comfort. Forests and farmhouses, moon and road were shrouded and hidden. Dogs still barked, hollow and distant in the gray haze, when they passed farms, but there was no other sound save the dull drumming of their horses' hooves. The very, very imminent direness is gone, though they are still in a bad situation. It is good, I think, that the shrill cries have gone. Hopefully they lost the Drogkar by this point. Rand is confident that they have been traveling for hours, and Lan calls on them to slow down. Houses loomed in the fog on all sides, houses strangely tall to Rand's eye. He had never seen this place before, but he had often heard descriptions. That tallness came from high red stone foundations, necessary when the spring melt and the mountains of mist made the Terran overflow its banks. They had reached Terran Ferry. That's good, I think. Late at night, magical speed, and even not so far from Two Rivers, this place is still very foreign to Rand. The group heads into the town. They get to a specific house. I have no clue whose house, whether or not they know who's there, if they're planning on staying the night or what. I didn't think they'd be staying the night, though. Lan starts pounding on the doors very loudly. A neighbor wakes up and shouts at them or something. And it's the house of the ferryman. The ferryman wants to send them away because he doesn't take people at night, obviously, almost certainly with good reason. Matt gets a snide comment in. The guy's name is Master Hightower, so Matt says he never even saw Hightower. And I hope that mouth does not get him in trouble in the future. I suspect it might. Anyway, the ferryman doesn't want to take them across, but Lan pulls out a bunch of coins, and there's a great descriptive line. Hightower licked his lips as the coins clinked, and by inches his head moved closer to his hand as if he could not believe what he was seeing. I chuckled at that, just the image of him moving closer. It's like so much money. Lan offers as much again once they've crossed. And the ferryman agrees, says he has to go wake up his workers. And Lan says, I'll wait for you at the ferry for a little while. So it does make me wonder what he would have planned if the ferryman doesn't get there quick enough. But I suspect he will. I do think they'll be attacked on the ferry, or getting onto the ferry, or getting off the ferry. I don't think it's going to be a smooth ferry trip, is what I'm saying. I think that's all I've got. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.